Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wiseburn Unified School District Board meeting on October 8, 2024. Calling this meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. Wendy, do we have any public comments on closed agenda items? All right. Seeing none, we will now recess to closed session and we will reconvene at 6:00 p.m. Thank you, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the October 8, 2024 Wiseburn Unified School District Board meeting, calling this meeting to order at 6:04 p.m. And let's get this meeting started. I think we have a relatively short agenda and hopefully I can get everybody home for that Dodger game, right? And that's gonna be hard. So Wendy, would you please take roll call?
Mr. Van Willis.
Present.
Dr. Goldman.
Present.
Daphne. Present. Mrs. Gatsby. Present. Mr. Martinez.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Dr. Dugal, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Please stand. Ready, begin.
Nation. Indivisible, liberty and justice.
Thank you. We have no items to report from closed session this evening. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Thank you,
Second.
Roger. Thank you, Rebecca. All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Wendy, do we have any comments from the public on non-agenda items?
I have no comments.
All right. Moving along, we have a public hearing this evening on the Da Vinci School charter renewals. I'm gonna open up the public hearing at 6:05 p.m. and I'm gonna ask Mr. Wonder here to come up. I think you have a presentation, and Michelle, welcome.
No
Welcome to
more
the
than
book.
75 minutes? Is that what you
Exactly.
7.5 is it?
Yeah, Wendy's got the timer right there, 3 minutes.
We reversed for 15, we'll see how long we do. Okay.
Well, welcome.
Thank you very much. So, Wiseburn leadership, thank you. I know you're very well versed in the charter renewal process. But I think some people in the audience and perhaps on Zoom aren't, so give a brief introduction of the process. And then share. We cut it down from 42 slides to about 20. So let's go. So this part is the public hearing, which is a legal requirement to renew the charters. But I would say, as you well know, if you look at that right there, but I think only Roger and Blake so far have actually poured through it. There's no way to fully cover the content of what is in there in 15 minutes, and we're not going to try. So we're kind of give a snapshot of a process and talk about what's moving forward. I think as everyone knows, a charter petition is like a nonprofit business plan. It's an accountability document that says that here is what we commit to do, and here are our assurances to providing everyone we serve with a high quality, in this case, set of 4 schools. And so again, there are multiple ways in which this isn't the first time, our partnership is really important to us, and we hope to everyone. And so a lot of this content is not new by a long shot. With that said, I turn it over to the brains of the operation. Well, now I want to change one more slide. I got one more slide. Thanks. So obviously we have 4 charter renewals up for your consideration. Connect, and the Connect charter has 2 elements, the TK through 8, and then the high school, but it's under Da Vinci Connect. And then we have the three schools above us, science, communications, and design. And Michelle's going to talk a little bit about differential renewal periods. So two of our schools are 5-year renewals and two are 7. Oh, as the board well knows, it's been, nearly 7 years since we were last at this. And so 2018 was the last approval period. And then through legislative extensions due to the pandemic, we're now seeking 2630 to 2031 for design and communications, and for Connect and Science 2026 through the year 2033. Michelle will cover the why.
Now, just out of curiosity, I'm sorry, I should have asked this sooner, but going back to that slide, wasn't the COVID extension was 2 years, not 3, wasn't it? Or am I wrong? Was it 3 years, not 2? I thought it was 2 years, I guess is what I'm saying. But it's showing.
I think there was a 2-year plus a 1,
Okay.
but I'm doing it from memory. I can get back to you.
Hey, so the state has outlined some guidance for charters and for authorizers around charter renewal. And in their guidance, they've developed 3 tracks. And all of our schools fall within the high and middle performing tracks. And so there's additional information that we have linked should you want to read more about what exactly each track references. But our 2 schools, Da Vinci Connect and Science, are both considered by the state to be high performing for 2 different reasons. For each school, a different reason, but that recommends a 7-year renewal. And then 2 of our schools, Communications and Design, are recommended by the state as middle performing, which has a 5-year renewal, and none of our schools are considered low performing. We also want to talk to you a little bit about some of our metrics and our outcomes that tie into our vision and our mission beyond some of the state criteria. We're going to do that next. So this includes the fact that Connect and Science have both been named California Distinguished Schools. Da Vinci Design has been recognized as a top 10 charter school in California for boosting college and career success, with an article that recently came out about that. All of our schools, and that also includes RISE, by the way, but all of the schools that are authorized by Weisburn have received the full 6-year accreditation by WASC. Connect just renewed last year. Design, Science, and Communications is going through the WASC accreditation process this year. And our students have been accepted to every UC and Cal State in California, as well as hundreds of other colleges. And we work really hard at counseling them on the right fit college for them.
We just learned that one of our alums is now at Harvard Medical School. So super proud of him. And he's opened up hospitals in several countries on the African continent.
Our students also are far more likely than their Los Angeles, state, California, and national counterparts to attend college after high school. And we've included some statistics, the blue there being Da Vinci schools. Our students are also twice as likely to be college eligible via the A through G approval eligibility. So 95% of our class of 24 met those requirements. Whereas the statewide average is less than 45%. And one of the many ways that we achieve this is through really great staff, including our counselors, and keeping a low counselor to student ratio far below the California and American School Counselor recommendation even. Additionally, our graduates are 3 times as likely to be career ready upon graduation as their statewide peers. 69.2% have completed CTE pathways compared to less than 19% across the state. We have a growing dual enrollment across our org, but as an example, Connect High School students are over 4 times more likely to have completed a college course than their California counterparts at 81.5% of graduates. And our high school students have also at very high rates completed at least one real world learning experience. 1,455 students, and that includes engaging with companies and organizations, going on class field trips, internships, volunteer opportunities. And it's a very growing part of our program and overseen by Steve Wallace, who's in the audience. Matt's going to talk to you about some financials.
So part of the public hearing process is, and your responsibility, as you know, is to make sure that we have enough money to do the things we commit to doing for students. So it's that financial oversight. As you know, you audit our financials, the first and second interims, and report back. So, and then also we're fortunate to have Dr. Silvers at all of our board meetings. And so he gets to hear our financial updates from Michael Amato. I think that really covers it, you know, so running a surplus, and we have significant reserves for any economic downturn. At your leisure, you can study up on this. So these are three of our big areas. It's not technically going into the charter pension renewal process, but we wanted you to know about our three major priorities for this year and likely beyond. So Michelle will share a little bit about each of these buckets.
Yeah, so one of our major focus areas is cross-school collaboration. I'm going to share a little bit more about that in a minute. We're also focusing at all of our sites on our multi-tier systems of support. I want to acknowledge and thank actually the Weisburn district for, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. Margaret Lynch invited me to attend a cohort around MTSS that your district was doing, and I learned a lot and was really introduced to MTSS through that. So thank you for that. As well as long-term sustainability in all the different ways that we're looking at building deep roots within our community here, at the financial sustainability of our programs, at the curriculum and instruction that we're offering, and it all kind of loops through the work that we're trying to do. When I say cross-pollination and cross-collaboration, what we really mean by that is Da Vinci Schools was founded on a really beautiful principle of developing schools that are autonomous and that allow the educators within them to create practices that are going to be responsive to their students. And that's resulted in a lot of the really beautiful practices our schools have. And as we're a more mature organization, we have realized the need to identify bright spots and amplify those across our org and get stronger together within our org, just like we have also developed a similar mindset around our collaboration with Weisburn. So thank you for that. We've also been focusing a lot on our core programs, including adding central office roles around curriculum and instruction, including as well educational services and how we integrate real world learning and CTE pathways effectively into all of our schools.
Dual enrollment.
And dual enrollment, thank you. A few points that I've talked about already. We've been focusing on our response to absenteeism across all of our programs as we recover out of, COVID and habits that have been built by students and families, and how we can be really responsive to that within our organization. And also examining dual enrollment, its benefits to our students, how we can create a more robust system for our students and families with our El Camino Community College partner, and also exploring other options that would benefit our families. And then we continue to be open to learning from and with Weisburn to create a TK through 12 curriculum. And so really just a commitment to learn and grow together as much as is desired by the district. sharing just some highlights. I'm not going to go point by point over this, but these are some numbers and statistics for each of our schools around the number of students at each of the schools who have an IEP or are in special education, as well as some of the more broad ways that we support students across the district. One of the side projects I'm working on is getting some more specific information to you by school. So more to come. And then similarly for our English language learners, these are our numbers. And then the various ways that we are supporting our students and our growing populations at each site.
May, I really should hand it off to Steve. You want to do an impromptu? So, one of our focuses is giving students the exposure to the real world, and Steve's done a brilliant job of creating, with the schools, multiple pathways. So as you know, one advantage of the charters is they do not require a PE class. As you also well know, we have a very robust athletic, and we have a slide on that as well, that we insert in there, essentially college major exposure experiences. So there are pathways at all of our schools. And I think we're one of the few schools that do it or organizations do it as robustly as we do it here in Weisburn.
Steve happened to have with him a very beautiful and well-crafted brochure featuring each of these, which he'll pass down. You can look at it, but we can also provide copies to each of you of that.
I think we're $5 a copy.
No.
So athletics program, when we started the schools in 2009 and we reaffirmed it in 2014, one of the things Weisburn leadership said is we really want a robust athletic program because that's what Weisburn community has wanted. I don't think we did that in a particularly fast and furious way, but I feel like we're in a great place now. We're just short of 600 student athletes, numerous different experiences. Thanks to your Measure EE, we have a new soccer field coming online. Actually, I think it's already come online. I think I saw the kids out there kicking around, just trial testing it. As you know, thanks to Christina Jobert and many other people's leadership and partnership with WEF, we've had the summer in Weisburn camps. And just to make sure that you know we're investing in athletics, that's our gross spend in 23-24. I think it's allotted a little bit more this school year. Eminent Performing Arts, you know how we've teamed up with the district and WEF and have used that arts grant to provide many more experiences. So thanks for the partnership there. And as you can see, these are some numbers that, we are proud and grateful to be Weisburn's high schools in partnership. And so these are the numbers of residents, and that doesn't include the students on inter-district permits. So, slide. What other folks may not know, it's just been numerous ways we've been able to partner in getting traction, and really appreciated working with Dr. Silvers. And so these are some other things just to remind folks of how we're partnering. Next slide. I'm conscious of Dee Dee's jersey, which reminds me that we're standing in the way of the Dodger games. So if you don't want to carry that 40-pound notebook, these are links to all the charters and the renewal criteria and a summary. So
Thank you.
Questions from the board or just appreciation for the follow-up later, but thank you.
Thank you. And then, we'll give a public hearing at 6:05 PM. So do you have any comments from the public with regards to, your the school? Charter review?
No comments online.
Very from the public. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing at 6:24 PM. And thank you. Board. You trying to do that again today.
No comments other than great to see the technology evolving. And I'm assuming, and actually, Dr. Silvers, you give us an update where we are with the schools, the teachers, the classrooms, et cetera. When you do your report or now, whatever's.
Sure.
appropriate.
Maybe on my report, how's?
Sure,
how's that
whatever,
work?
whatever
Okay,
works.
sure. Yeah, my long report, yes.
And that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Neil. Michelle?
I don't really have a lot to say. I'm just, thank you, to Da Vinci for that presentation. Being that my children are in both, it is really, really great to see the collaboration and the working together. I've always been excited, to have my children go to Da Vinci. So, I'm just happy to see it growing and facilitating that relationship. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We'll go to you.
All right. So I did actually write remarks today.
Okay.
You guys got out of it the last couple weeks. So just saying. So at our last board meeting, we passed a resolution in support of Bullying Prevention Month. And tonight we have on our docket a resolution in honor of National School Psychologists Week. We exist in a landscape where school violence is a frequent topic in the headlines, including some unsubstantiated threats at our own schools. And we now also have data to support the critical links between school violence and mental as well as physical health issues alongside risk-taking behavior. The connections between bullying, victimization, fighting, and school violence are evident, and I'm grateful that our district is actively working towards fostering a positive school environment and raising awareness of the signs that may lead to school violence. This includes the adoption of the new framework for social emotional learning through Capturing Kids' Hearts, which I also believe we're committed to effectively implementing in our classrooms. As we're now in the midst of the Jewish high holidays, including Rosh Hashanah, which was just this weekend, it's a time for reflection, renewal, and for me, the start of the Jewish New Year. So I find myself reflecting on the year that's passed and the year to come. This period emphasizes the importance of introspection, community, and striving for a better world. And it reminds me of our collective responsibility to nurture an environment of civility and kindness, even in the face of disagreement. It's a time when I'm reminded that despite the challenges we face, we have to look for silver linings and maintain hope. I find hope in doing the work to make our world a better place. Our future depends on our ability to embody these values, ensuring a safe and supportive atmosphere for all of our students. And I'm grateful to all of our administrators, teachers, staff, and students, and the community for working tirelessly to make our schools safe places for learning and growth. So I almost did it. Thank you especially to the school psychologists within our district. And I just wanted to list them by name. So Diana Castellanos at Del Air, Karen Erico at Wiseburn Middle School, Ishani Gowrie at Holly Glen, Alina Rodriguez at Aviation, and I'm gonna butcher her name, so I'm gonna apologize right now, Sarika Shrivastava at the SLC. For all that they do and have done to support our students and families. I recognize that National School Psychologist Week isn't until early November, but since it's on our docket tonight, I wanted to say thank you to them. Finally, I know we also have another resolution on the docket this evening. Having grown up in a military community and graduated from high school in a military base, I'm thrilled that we're recognizing and honoring our military families this month. They sacrifice so much, picking up and moving. Gonna do it. All right. Likely several times in the course of a child's school career. And while they are frequently temporary members of our community, they make tremendous impacts. I know, between us and the baseball game. All right. I look forward to our upcoming meeting of the board's DEI committee, working with Dr. Ingram, and being able to provide input on the board policy and the plan we discussed at the last meeting about how we recognize commemorative dates and observances in a way that enhances understanding, respect, and awareness among the many religious, ethnic, and cultural identities in our school communities. Thanks. Yeah.
Nelson, I do have a couple of comments. On tonight's agenda, we have the public hearing for the charter renewals. So I want to just make a couple of comments on that as well. And it's really important for all of us to keep in mind that it is so much more difficult to build something than it is to allow something to wither. So I'm really excited about moving forward with the charter renewal petitions and having some dialogue, some conversations as well, so that we can make our partnership, which is unique. Nobody is doing what we're doing anywhere in the country. So I think it's important for us to continue that dialogue and have some discussions on some items as the petitions are being put forward. Thank you for the presentation today. It's great to see that there's so many positive accomplishments as well. And also that our students, as you all know, have an opportunity to come to a local high school. I mean, that's always been a tremendous dream of all of us here in the Weisbrunn community, and to see it actually be a reality. I think the only thing better is to make it stronger, because it's already here. That was a big item many, many years ago when our community members were actually moving out of our community because they felt they didn't have necessarily the option for a high school, and we do. Is it perfect? Is Weisbrunn perfect? Is Da Vinci perfect? No, right? But that doesn't mean we can't get there to a much better place. And I think we've also evolved in our relationship and partnership, and it's going to continue to be so that way. So I'm really looking forward to that and having that dialogue. So thank you for the presentation today. Okay. Speaking of finishing out and doing a project, looking forward to the grand opening dedication ceremony for the soccer field here at the Weisbrunn High School campus site. That's also been a long time in coming. So thank you to the Weisbrunn community for Measure E and supporting that bond. Without the community, it just wouldn't be possible to do a project of that size and of that magnitude. So I'm eternally grateful to our community for funding that project. Thank you. And lastly, it wouldn't be complete if I didn't have a comment about math. So I'm looking forward to the update. So a quick story, I was visiting my mother this weekend, and she pulled out of the closet a Calculus BC jacket that I had in high school when I was taking calculus with Mr. Jaime Escalante, who was our teacher he's my teacher for Algebra 2, Trigonometry, and Calculus 1. And then he's unfortunately no longer with us. So that's where my deep appreciation, passion, and love really for math and my engineering background comes from. Really passionate about math and the opportunities that can provide to our students. So you will always hear me talk about math. So on that note, thank you for everything that everyone is doing. Really looking forward to that update. And of course, it's not just math. We have a big responsibility for all of our students, but I like talking about it because it's a passion, something I enjoy as well. That's all for me.
Thank you, Roger. I want to thank you, Roger, for taking this on too.
Yeah.
As Matt said, so I just wanted to share with Da Vinci, with both Matt and Michelle, and I know Steve's in the audience as well. I agree with Roger, we're offering a local high school now for a community, come a long ways. The partnership, I think, continues to get stronger and stronger. And, for those of you that take a look at the slides that you presented, 80+% of our students from Weisbrunn Middle School are now attending the Da Vinci schools, and that's phenomenal. We started at somewhere in the 30% when we started this thing, so that's just a huge testament to kind of what you're doing. And I just saw the brochure that came around from Steve Wallace and the program offerings, and I'm excited to see the aviation thing that's taking place now at DV Connect. It's phenomenal, the program offerings that we're offering our students. So just thank you, and I think we're, like Roger said, we're going to continue to get stronger and just work well together. So That's all I have, this evening. I definitely do not want to get in the way of the Dodger game. So with that, hint, Blake, you're up.
Let me see where I should start. We're just gonna do a quick, and I don't have a long update today, but I do wanna pass through a couple members of the team. So Kim, I don't know if you wanna start.
Sure. Can I just sit?
I think you can just sit there. There's a microphone right above you.
Awesome. Okay, well, good evening, everyone. I will be quick. And we'll say go Padres because I'm a native San Diego.
You should have said that. Next, moving on.
No, I had the 25 days. I just want to share quickly, we just had our second of 3 collaboration meetings with WFA for the Special Education Committee. So that was something that came out of last year as a request from WFA members to be able to create a space where we can have some open dialogue about questions, concerns related to special education, things that are going well, things that aren't. And so we met last May in our first meeting, and this year was our second on last Thursday. And so I just to share just sort of an overview, I've been really impressed. Both of our meetings have been very productive. I think we've had very good conversations. It is intended to be just an open conversation. There's not a specific outcome that we're focused on. But it's been a full day of dialogue. And so we came to the last meeting in May, sort of identifying 3 key areas that came up as concerns or areas to target. And that was staffing, student behavior, and trainings. And so we kind of reflected on that at the end of last year, what that meant. And so we started off this time really looking at that and being able to acknowledge areas that we have shown improvements already since we've started the school year. One is staffing. We're fully staffed with all of our special education teachers this year, which last year we were not. We had a lot of temporary teachers in places. And so already that's made a huge improvement. We talked about the trainings, including the training that Dr. Ingram helped support with, and our CPI training for staff and for our classified members. Staffing, we've been able to increase our RBTs. And so it was just a lot of that dialogue of looking at what's been going well. And then moving forward, just really targeting, recognizing that I think we see collaboration as an area that we need to show additional growth in terms of opportunities for conversations between school teams, I think across departments, and then also across schools. So, and that includes Da Vinci as well, because we have conversations related to the transition of 8th to 9th grade students. And so that's sort of what, trying to figure out ways we can create better spaces for that. So just wanted to share that was our second one. We have one more scheduled in March. It's an MOU for 3 meetings, but it's really helped for me, certainly be able to provide some clarity and some focus on some really good ideas to target. And I just really want to thank all the members of the committee. It includes a gen ed teacher and a special education teacher from every site. In addition to myself, Sarah Green, who's our new administrator in special education, as well as Dana Kang, who's our new program specialist. So we were able to get a lot of different perspectives in the room, and everyone really came ready to go. So just wanted to share that.
Learn online. Okay, I have the mathematics update and a little update from Ed Services as well. And so on September 19th of this school year, Aviation was chosen by the Coatson Foundation to be one of the showcase schools for Coatson. So they're new Coatson members that are from everywhere from Riverside to Los Angeles to Orange County, had their new teachers come and watch our teachers. I mean, that is like the greatest honor for our teachers, to be showcased in the great things that they did. And then we're able to, after their model lesson, have a conversation with kind of these newbies in cognitively guided instruction, facilitate conversations. I mean, the team was awesome in the way they spoke and the way they were working with their kids. I mean, I couldn't be prouder as a member of this team. And it was just the smiles on their face, knowing that impact that they had in, their mathematical practices and their instructional strategies, and how not only are they impacting our community, but communities beyond. It's like, bravo to them. So thank you to everyone at Aviation and beyond, because many of our Delaware teachers were there as well, guiding along and working with them, the Coatson members. And this week, we onboarded our new instructional coach at the middle school, Miss Christina Navarro, who's already gotten in and started working with our middle school teachers. And her and I and Holly Compton today began working together on some scope and sequences, you know, from bridging over from the elementary schools to the middle school. So I'm excited to work with that team throughout the school year and beyond. And officially, we moved the OLSAT to being online. And working with Tony and our third grade staff, all of our students were assessed last week. The beautiful thing of assessing online is we get our results really, really quickly. So it's really impacting our program, and invitations are going out tomorrow for our GATE enrichment program. So thank you to all of our third grade staff too, who have onboarded, because it was challenging. A few hiccups with technology, but really got through it and did it well for our kiddos. Thank you.
Thank you.
Exciting.
The microphone.
Yeah, going down the line. As Rebecca mentioned, the board's being asked to approve three resolutions for November, National Native American Heritage Month, Military Family Appreciation Month, and then National School Psychologist Week. In keeping in step with our new practices for this year, our counselors will participate in a half-day training tomorrow on upcoming celebrations and resolutions. So November through January, they'll get educated themselves, and that will include just kind of historical aspects, and then they'll be prepared to share that information with teachers who will then disseminate the information to our students. And part of that will include planning for activities on campus as well. Also, the board is recommended the board approve WeTip Anonymous. It is essentially it's a tip line to be proactive about safety on our campuses. People would be able to use a QR code or a text line or a website to report any safety concerns or potential safety concerns that they have for our school sites. And that information that they would submit is monitored 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and it goes to a live person if it's and it's determined if it's considered a serious threat or not. And if it is, then they would contact our team, as we would ask. So that's something that our community has been asking about. It's something that's used by a lot of other schools, and it would be really helpful, I think, for us. And also ASCIP believes it's a safety precaution too. They cover the first year of costs for us. And so we would only pick up year 2 and year 3.
No reduction in rates after year 2?
Yes, actually there is. So ASCIP pays the rent, the 2,200, and then we would pay about 1,100 each year after that. Also in line with safety, we're organizing a parent safety evening. So again, what we're hearing from our community is that parents and caregivers want to get together and just kind of understand what our safety practices are, share concerns and questions, and just make sure that they have an understanding of what we do to make sure students are safe on our campuses, and also that they know how to talk to their students about safety at school. And so that's going to take place on October 23rd at 5 p.m.
Where?
Aviation. Last update, today there was a full day training for our core team on capturing kids' hearts. So part of the Capturing Kids' Hearts package is to train leaders so that they can help support the teachers on campus. And so our core team members participated in a full day of training today. Yesterday, our Capturing Kids' Hearts representative spent the full day on all of our campuses, including the SLC, observing the practices and going in the classrooms and seeing kind of the social contracts is a big thing of Capturing Kids' Hearts, and just how that's implemented, and different aspects so that we could identify our growth areas and things that we were doing well in. And that's what the core team members evaluated today and reflected on, and they identified next steps to be able to support our sites in strengthening our Capturing Kids' Hearts practice.
Thank you.
We didn't even coordinate.
I know.
Just in case anybody was wondering, wrote that totally independent.
No update from HR.
Did we skip Sean over there? Did we skip you or no? No,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you have enough?
I can give a quick update.
You wanna just make something up?
Yeah, can I do it on the fly? We've been working closely with our business services department. We have 2 new staff members in there, so it's actually a really good time for us to kind of take a deeper dive into our internal processes and procedures in regards to workflow of documents, purchase requisitions, personnel requisitions, and just kind of seeing how we can improve and streamline those processes. We're also looking at our budgets and kind of our various like account code structure and looking to kind of streamline that as well and kind of make it easier for the school sites, kind of pushing out kind of a more streamlined account string structure for inputting and hopefully just making it easier for our business practices to kind of move, through the approval steps a lot quicker. We have a wonderful team here. I'm looking forward to working with all 3 of them. Maggie and I have had conversations about tying in the budget with the LCAP and just how we can really identify the budget with those goals and actions, and then taking a closer look at special ed budget and how we're kind of improving that process going forward and just making sure that everything's clear and above board, especially when we do our kind of our official interim updates, but just kind of putting in all the back end work to facilitate that process.
Thank you.
All right, my turn. I'll be quick. Nelson. I just want to say I appreciate what Sean shared about, just looking, I think you heard a lot of comments here, some commentary here on the systems, in the business office. I think that's really important, not just for like workflow purposes, but for being effective and also, lessening chance of error. And I think that looking through these processes, hats off that we're starting that early, having these important conversations now. So I just wanted to point out that I think there was a bit of an understatement. I appreciate the understatement. I think, the work that's going into really understanding what's under the hood is big and important work, and is going to set us up for the future. So appreciate that. And I just think it's a really good place to start, to really build out that foundation as we get closer to our first interim reporting period. So we're getting real close to that here in a few weeks. Also want to share that we are looking at some facility space. Nelson and I had an opportunity to walk Del Air site today behind the Connect campus, looking at ways to help strategize with the baseball program at Da Vinci to provide a little bit more of a space and a place for them to practice. Obviously, keeping in mind there's other things going on and we have to be aware of all those. So more to come on that, but I do appreciate, Nelson taking the time to kind of walk there. Vicente was with us, as well as Zeke, the baseball coach there. And there's just a lot of interest and a lot of, heart that goes onto that program. And just having been able to see it, my hat's off to the coaching staff there for really trying to make a tough situation, just not a lot of facility space, as good as it can be for kids. And those kids are out there working on not much. And I just think it's a really, just a testament to the people that are behind that program. So hopefully we could take a look at things and work with Da Vinci Schools on supporting those programs as we move forward into the very, very competitive, one of the Pioneer League or the Bay League or the Ocean League, whichever one it is that we're in. It's one of those 3. So I figured I'd say them all, and one of them's right. Also want to share that looking forward, I know our team and the Da Vinci team we're heading to San Diego next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere in between, somewhere in that day range, to take a look at some schools in Poway Unified School District, as well as Cajon Valley, looking at our profiles of a learner work and just looking at some of the practices that are happening there. So appreciate that opportunity just to really dive in, have good conversations, and then dive into some of our work. So thankful for that. And I want to give the update on the network. I won't make Cherie come up here. I'll just do it for you, Cherie. Unless you want to do it. Do you want to come up and do it? Okay, go for it. She was looking at me. She was mad. I know. She was like, don't say anything. But, yeah, sorry, Sheree. I was gonna give you a save.
Good evening, board, good evening, community, and good evening, leadership team. Thank you for the opportunity to give an update on where we are at with the district's network infrastructure project. As you can see, there have been a lot of people working extremely hard over the last week in order to get the boardroom up and ready for tonight's board meeting. We do have some miscellaneous items that still need to be complete, but I am happy to report that the team did work together and we are here in the boardroom with our new infrastructure. So that is a good accomplishment, with the focus being primarily on the boardroom this last week to make sure that we were functional. The overall percentages of work complete for all the other categories of work have pretty much remained the same. So work will commence again at all the sites. Working on the wireless access points, the cameras, the fiber. So all that work will continue at all sites as we originally reported. The overall completion date has not changed. We are still on target to complete by end of January 2025. That again does not include the door access controls. Door access controls is a separate project. We are currently working with NWN and Erickson Hall Construction and the architect of record for the door access controls for Dell Air modernization to be complete summer of 2025, as well as working with the recently hired architect PBK for the rest of the school sites for those door access controls, and then getting that project submitted to DSA. And then we'll be able to have an update on that project as well for those projects for completion overall. And I will turn to Tony. Tony, did I miss anything important that we need to share on the project?
If the screen is too clear, we can always bring in a more fuzzy.
Neil, this is your opportunity.
Do I share what you said?
I can see
He says it's too clear.
All's good?
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So excited for screen.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it for me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Any public comments on agenda items, Wendy? No comments. All right. Let's go to consent items. Do I have a motion for 9.1?
So moved?
Michelle, second.
Yeah, second.
Thank you, Neil. Any comments or questions before we take the vote? Nope.
None on my end.
Thank you, Rebecca, for the
Seeing
recognition.
none, all in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Next item, general items, approved agreement with Hawthorne School District. I think we do this every 5 years. Is that correct, Blake?
Yes, this is the second of, the law came into effect.
Yeah.
We did the first renewal 5 years ago, and now this is the second.
Can you clarify that, which law came into effect?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the actual law. But there was a law basically that stated you couldn't have these agreements for longer than these agreements that dealt with permit caps or some sort of enrollment caps. It can be longer than 5 years. So every 5 years you have to revisit it. When we initially negotiated the unification piece with Sentinel Valley Schools, Hawthorne, it was Hawthorne and Lawndale at the time. The caps came into play. So we have a 160 student cap for Hawthorne. We have a 75 student cap for Lawndale. And every 5 years we would bring those back when the district requests that we do that.
Do you have a motion? Any item?
Almost 10.1.
Second?
Roger. Becca. All in favor?
Aye.
Fantastic. Facility items, it's definitely nice to see a few notice of completions on this list here. It's fantastic. Do I have a motion for 11.1 through 11.5?
So moved.
Becca, and do I have a second?
Second.
Michelle?
Yep.
Thank you, Michelle. Any comments or questions before we take the vote? All right, Fantastic job there, team. Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Right. Blake, take it away with the upcoming dates. And then we got the grand opening on October 21st, right? Coming up for the new field.
We do. So we're really excited to be able to host the October 21st dedication ceremony, groundbreaking. Just an opportunity for us to celebrate the opening of this facility. So I know we've sent this information over to Da Vinci staff. We're going to be sending information out. We do have a flyer. Noemi put together a really nice flyer. So we'll be sending that out. There will be food. Be nice. It's going to be a taco truck or a taco stand of some sort. And there's going to be plenty of food. So, you know, we're hoping enough people show up to actually eat the food is the, so just, it's going to be tacos. It's going to be all there. Yeah. And then Spooktacular, I just want to point out Spooktacular too. October 25th. I think if you ask Dana, it's the best day of the year. But 5 to 8, we get to celebrate Spooktacular, Wiseman Middle School, formerly known as.
I think they're still looking for volunteers too.
Yeah, and they're still looking for volunteers.
Obviously, our next board meeting is the 22nd. So that concludes this meeting, everyone, at 6:54 PM. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's go Dodgers. Sorry.